Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another Big Go Bell movie review brought to you from the Toronto International Film Festival. Now, this film here is called Motor City, and this is a quick synopsis. In 1970s Detroit, Miller falls in love with a local gangster's girl. In retaliation, the gangster enacts a frame job to send the innocent man to prison. Life ruined, Miller plots revenge campaign against the man that took his girl away. And this is directed by Punso Pacelli, and it stars Alan Rickman, Shailene Woodley, and Ben Foster. Now, I didn't know much about Motor City going into Motor City, except for that Alan Rickman was in it, and that's enough to watch a movie that clearly looks like an action movie. What I didn't realize is that Motor City is set up to have little to no dialogue for the entire film. This is a film that you may only hear words 3 times, and they're very sparingly on the words that you do hear. Nothing else is explained to you. Because of that, this film is driven way more by its soundtrack than it is by anything else in this film. The problem with Motor City, and I think while this is an idea, not original idea, but an interesting idea to come up with, to do a film, an American-based film with no dialogue. Very interesting attempt to pull that off, as we've seen in more Asian cultures where we've seen these type of things pulled off well, and kind of in Westerns, we used to see it pulled off well. Well, maybe not the whole cast didn't speak, but it was very limited in words because you didn't have to say much to explore exactly what needed to happen. Here with Motor City, it feels like a gimmick more than an executed idea, as we get to see the actors actually move their lips, but we don't hear what they're saying. So instead of relying on the emotions of the moment to display exactly words without having their lips move, how you can use eye movements, how you can just use just body movements to convey that same emotion. Here, it literally, they're talking and they just mute it out and we don't hear what they're saying. That just feels like an idea. Wow, it was interesting to do. It just wasn't executed well, and it became a gimmick. And that's what it feels like as you're watching Motor City. As again, you're introduced to Alan's character Rickman, Alan Rickman's character Miller. As the first thing you see, he's getting off of parole, and he goes to pick up something, and his car's stolen. When his car's stolen, the robbers then leave his car. He goes to check to make sure the engagement ring he wants to give to his girlfriend is still there. It's there. He gets home. A tip is called in, and all of a sudden, all these cops rush in, and we get to see pounds and pounds of drugs in his car. Because there's no dialogue, we don't exactly know what's happening here. But then it's revealed through the course at the beginning of the film that he was set up, and he was set up by the same person he stole his girlfriend from, or took his girlfriend from. I just don't know if Ben Foster, who was his girlfriend, who was Shailene Woodley's character's boyfriend before Miller, it's not sure if that was her pimp or if that was her man. It is very unclear exactly what's going on. And I think that's the problem when you do a film with no dialogue and you're doing it with backstory that needs dialogue, is that you can lose the audience. And Motor City, while its action, especially by the third act where everybody becomes superheroes, its action is solid. But the idea and the premise of doing this without dialogue hurts this movie tremendously. And unfortunately, it feels like, even though Ben Foster's an amazing actor, Shailene Woodley's an amazing actress, Alan is the only one who perfects doing this no dialogue acting in this film. He's the only one. And I think it'd have been better if the idea would have been for his character not to say much in the film. That could have been better. That could have been like the Man with No Name Western series with Clint Eastwood, where he says little to nothing throughout the whole film series. But here, because Alan's the only one that's committed, that understands that his body can show those emotions, his face can show those emotions. And with everyone else, some of them are saying dialogue that you're just muting and taking us away from. It just felt so silly after a while. Now again, if you're just here for an action film, I think this could be it for you. It is a lot of action in this movie. It is bloody, gruesome action in this film. It feels like I'm watching Sin City. the old, I think the Frank Miller Sin City film that came out. It feels like I'm watching that at a certain moment in time with the silliness of its action in this film. But the no dialogue just takes you completely out of this film. And it's just because it doesn't feel earned. Like, just to have something like that work, I think you have to earn it with your actors' emotions and not with just muting what they're saying. And it's too much of that muting what they're saying and leaving an audience in the dark about what's going on that it kind of feels cartoonish at times. But again, if you're just here for an action movie, Motor City can give you that in droves. If you're here for Alan Rickman's performance, this is one of those performances for me from him, especially in a film instead of on Reacher or any other television show he's done, where this is a movie star performance that he's putting on here. It is a scene once he escapes prison and once he gets ready to start his revenge tour, because that's what it feels like, a revenge tour. Before he starts his revenge tour, he does this emotional scene in the bathroom that his character says nothing and you feel everything. And that's what you needed from everyone else in this film. And you get that from no one else in this film but Alan. And I think that's the struggle point for Motor City, is that the gimmick, while interesting, is and becomes the silliest of gimmicks to put in a movie. And it hurts the movie in the long run instead of making it this unique piece of art here. While it's directed well, the score also is a little too bombastic for the way the story needs to move here. Like, you can't have this thumping soundtrack while no one is saying anything in the movie here. It almost felt like they needed to pull back the tone of the soundtrack to also use those songs to convey the emotions necessary in the characters, and they don't even do that. And that's kind of the last straw, the element you need to make this type of gimmick work, and it's just not pulled off well. But again, if you're just here for an action movie, you can always watch this on mute. You literally don't have to do anything else but watch it on mute. It's going to give you the same impact with these amazing action scenes that are set up in this film. But Motor City, brought to you by the Toronto International Film Festival. Out of a possible 10, I'm going to give Motor City a 6 out of 10. The action is solid. You're not going to be disappointed by the action. Alan's performance is really good. Everyone else struggles with the no dialogue thing. And I don't think it's their fault. I don't think it was set up properly not to do the no dialogue, because if I see your mouth moving, you're saying something. And multiple times in this film, the actors are actually moving their mouths and they're just muted. So you don't hear it any time. I was literally watching this film at one point in time, like, wait a minute, am I losing my mind? Like, their lips are moving, so we should be hearing something come out of it. And I think that's a flaw. Like, if you're going to do a film that's not going to have dialogue, don't show the actor giving dialogue. Do something else to convey that same emotion through their body movements, their eye contact, and things of that nature. And because they fail to do that, it just leaves the audience wanting the dialogue in the end. But check it out when it drops. Let us know what you think. This has been another Big Gold Belt movie review brought to you from the Toronto International Film Festival. Peace, people.